And we are back. And it's been a while. I can't lie. We've been putting out content. I've done enough on my channel. He's done some bits on here, uploads. He's back from tour. He's not too jet lagged, so I thought we'd get on here and have a chat. Big up to everyone that's here. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Great to see you guys in the chat and great to see so many of you here already. If you're watching on catch up, big up to you. Good evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever you're watching or listening to or from. And yeah, I thought me and Lee would get on here and talk a little bit about what's been going on over the last couple of weeks, because it's been a long time since I've chatted to Judges on a show. Yeah. It's been WhatsApp, and that's about it, because he's been a busy boy. We know where he's been, and we'll get some insides and outs of what has been going on in the last couple of weeks. But make sure you hit like and subscribe, people. If you can get us up to 50K and get myself up to 50K, that would be amazing. By hitting like and subscribe. The two buttons are absolutely free, so make sure you hit both of them. Big up to everyone in the chat. Lee, I haven't seen you for ages.
Yeah, that's why we're a bit late, isn't it, Dan? We was just catching up a little bit.
We was catching, and it is our fault. Yeah, we can't blame one of us for being late. We were both on time, believe it or not. But we were chatting away, and I'm thinking, crikey, I haven't spoken to you for so long. And I thought we'd better press go live, because you could sit there and do another podcast before hitting live, couldn't you, the way we chat? But there we go. Look, I want to understand what's been going on. I've got loads of questions, and I'm sure the chat have got loads of questions. And we'll do something a little bit different today. If you have got a question for Judges, or myself, but more Judges really, because he's been in and out, he's seen more than me. I've been stuck at my computer for the last couple of weeks, other than, of course, a lovely holiday that I got away for. But it'd be good to, if you've got any questions for Judges about pre-season or anything you want to ask him, then please make sure you put it in, or, of course, throw in a super chat. Before we talk football, before we talk players, individuals, signings, pre-season tour, pre-season friendlies, Spurs, was it a friendly? We're going to go through all of it, Judges, right?
Yeah.
But first of all, I want to know, what the hell happened to you on the plane on towards Singapore? Because I was literally in my hotel. I went on holiday, as you know, with family.
Yeah.
And I just checked in. It was so nice, mate. So nice, mate. Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. And I went into my room, and I saw it come up on me phone. Like, you know, just logging into the Wi-Fi as you do on hotels. Obviously, you need that because it's transfer windows open. I'm going to make sure I'm up to date with it. And I look at it and I think, I'm sure Judges is in a wheelchair there. What's going on here? So I clicked on it. And do you know when you think, like, you know, sometimes at AFTV, you do a little bit of acting, you do a little bit of, you know, role play, you know, pause. And I looked at it and I thought, he don't actually look too well there. And then, yeah, I messaged you and I thought, what the hell's going on? Because last time I saw you, you was live in the air with Robbie telling me everyone how great the Wi-Fi was, and it was coming out. Next minute, you were in a wheelchair at hospital, bro. What was going on?
It was mad. Like, we had free Wi-Fi on the first bit. So from London to Doha, we had free Wi-Fi, which was unreal. Like, you know what I mean? And it was bloody good. So we done things on the plane and all that, which had never been done. We had a laugh and it was funny. So yeah, gets down to Doha, then has a couple of hours in the lounge, you know, as you do, a couple of glasses of champagne. Now listen, you know, when I go to Dubai, I have a lot more than that, like, you know what I mean, in the Emirates lounge. You know, I'm off to Dubai tomorrow, like, you know what I mean. So like, I'll have a few in the lounge, and it's never caused any problems. Like, I honestly don't know what it was. I honestly think it was lack of sleep. I couldn't get to sleep on the plane. I don't know, Dan. Well, all I know was it was a very rough ride as well. Like the plane was going at one stage and it went down.
Like turbulence.
Yeah, turbulence. And it dropped down like quite a lot, and it was going back up and all that. Like, might have had something to do with it. I don't know. Sitting in the middle, so you don't actually see nothing. Like, do you know what I mean? Normally you're by an aisle or you're by the window. You can look out, and I don't know, Dan. I can't explain what happened. But all I remember, I was watching a film, and I remember Cecil was sitting next to me on the other side, asked what film I was watching. I told him what film I was watching. I don't remember anything else after that. I just remember coming up, fuck, like, this is, I feel hot. And the next thing, I'd gone, and they reckon I was out for about 45 seconds, like, you know.
Wow.
Sick everywhere. I actually woke up choking on my own sick, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's it. It was really dangerous, like, you know what I mean? Like, Turkish was panicking because, like, apparently I was sort of in a seizure sort of mode and everything like that, like, you know. It could have been a dodgy lasagna. There's some dodgy food on the plane. I'll tell you that now. Like. But I was in, you know, I don't know if anybody's experienced it and all that. Like,
Yeah, I have. I've passed out on planes before.
Totally soaking wet. All
Sweating.
my clothes. Yeah. It was like unreal. I had to throw my clothes away. Lost my Lyle and Scott top because, like, you know, I put it up on the top.
So did you get any help? Did they come running to you, or the air hostesses or whatever?
I don't know, Dan. Don't know. I woke up and there was a blanket over me and everything like that. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? But what was the thing was there was a wheelchair waiting for me with the plane, but I had to get down to the plane. You know what I mean? I'm in all sorts of, you know, like sweating and all that, like, you know what I mean? And so anyway, I managed to get me onto the wheelchair. I remember it, but I'm not, you know, that much.
A bit blurry, like,
yeah. Then I went to the hospital in the airport. Was put on a drip for about an hour and a half, and we was touch and go whether we was going to get there for Mikel's press conference, like, you know, but what happened was then there was no way we was going to do it. It was, you know, it was over 2 hours waiting for the drip to be done, and then, you know, like onto we had a little minibus waiting for. Oh my god, Dan, that was horrendous as well. Like, you know what I mean, to get from Singapore to the hotel.
How long was that?
I don't know. I was out of it. Completely out
really?
of it. Like, I was completely out of it. They slumped me on the chair and I was like that, sleeping. I was completely gone. That was after the drip. I didn't even know how the hotel. I can't remember getting into the hotel. All I remember was Cecil getting me into bed and just saying, like, you know, try and relax and all that. I don't even know that. I woke up with everybody coming into the room to check if I was all right, like, you know, like, which was a very nice moment.
That's
like,
scary, man. That's scary.
Yeah.
Was it? Do you know what it was? Was it low blood pressure, or was it like low blood sugar?
The doctor said it was, you know what I mean, like something like that, where your body shuts down and all that. But it ain't the first time it's happened. It's happened to me in an helicopter before, roller coaster. So she said I've got to get myself checked out when I get home. But of course, then I'd had a few hours sleep and all that, and then they said, "I'll come and look, better get yourself something to eat." And they ain't eating like for that. So I went and had something to eat, and then I was right as rain then after that. So it was no problems. But of course, then you start worrying, well, I've got another flight coming up.
Oh, yeah.
But all the flights back were all right. I didn't drink on those flights, you know what I mean? So, and so everything was okay, like, you know what I mean? So we had some unbelievable things. Joe, the cameraman, slipped over. Oh. Ankle come up like a balloon, you know what I mean? Like, so he was in bits. So he was mucking about having a wheelchair, me going out. Well, he had the wheelchair going in, you know what I mean? Like, so it was, but it was, but I just want to say, like, if you did message me, I had, Dan, loads and loads of messages like, are you all right, and all that, like, you know what I mean, and whatever, you know, like, obviously I know you text and all that.
Well, I only text because I had messages from people that I didn't really know saying, "His judge is all right. His judge is all right." I said, "I'm not with him." I said, I think they assumed I was with you. You know? I've not gone. You know, I've not gone. And you know, look, you know, I know people want to know about football and all that, but I had to get that because a lot of people have genuinely been worried about you, mate.
Everybody back home was worried about it as well. Like, you know, I sort of told immediate family, like, I was all right, because obviously you don't want, like, your mum watching, because she watches all the stuff, and then see me being carted out on a drip and on a wheelchair. So I'd sort of told, like, obviously it was going to come out as part of the vlog, but like I told sort of close family what had happened and all that, like, you know. So that was fine, like. And I didn't know how nice this hotel we went into, Dan, was unbelievable. Like, and of course, all the Newcastle players were staying there as well. Like,
yeah, unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And just one quick story. I've got to tell you this. You know, when England played the Euros final, we went out and watched it, and we're coming back after the game. And in the bar area, as you walk through, is the bar area. Kieran Trippier was walking out.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's small, isn't he?
very small, like, you know what I mean? And he turned around and he said, "Oh, Lee, my God, lovely to meet you," and all that, like, you know.
Wow.
So he said, like, "Have you got time for a chat and all that, like, you know what I mean?" So I said, "Yeah." So he said, "So
nah, sorry, mate, I ain't."
yeah." I said, "Yeah, you're Tottenham, blah blah blah." So anyway, we're having a chat about, you know, and he's turned around and said, "Oh, I love AFTV, watch it and all that, like, you know." He says, "Give me a shout out on a show. That'd be fantastic," and all that, like, you know.
Wow.
And so I went, "Well, I will do, like, you know," and blah blah blah. And when all the Newcastle players arrived and all that, we've all gone like, like Newcastle were in here, like, you know what I mean? It was unbelievable, like, you know. We're going, Newcastle players. Well, Kieran tells me that when they're having their meeting and that, they're all going, "Oh, the AFTV boys are here. They're staying in our hotel," like, you know what I mean? And he said, you know, "I'm glad I met you." I said, "I really wanted to meet you," and all that, like, you know. I ended up having a really good chat with him.
Yeah.
And you know, the last thing he said to me, which, you know, will stick with me, he goes, "You know, keep doing what you're doing. You do a brilliant job." You know what I mean? You know, all the players watch you and love you and all that, like, you know what I mean? It was a real fantastic moment.
That's
Like,
unreal,
you know,
isn't it? That is incredible.
unreal. And that was it. You know, he went, Jason Tyndall, who I didn't like, you know what I mean, ended up having a great time with him. And the highlight of the whole thing, I'm going to have to say this, was we was in this club. Gilberto comes in.
Ah, it's brilliant.
I've never met Gilberto before. And he seen me and Robbie, went, Robbie and Lee, like that. You know what I mean? It was just surreal, like, you know what I mean? And we're talking to him, having a chat with him. And then this is a funny thing, because we was working for the Hong Kong tourist thing. It comes up that one of us could get, like, to interview Gilberto for like a little feature. So we've gone down there to this thing. This is a weird thing, right? We goes into the place where it is. It's hospitality, free food, free drink and everything. So we're in there, you know what I mean? Like, and they're on the stage and all that. And, you know, said, "Oh, yeah, we're going to have a couple of minutes there." And I don't know what happened. Like, they just there was a big rush for them and all that, and they just rushed them through. So we never got that thing. But as I was standing there, Gilberto come over with all these people trying to push through and all that to shake me hand, like, you know what I mean? Like,
wow.
you know, Ledley King was the Spurs player as well, like, you know. So, so I never got to do that, which was a bit of a shame. But so like some unbelievable moments.
I know Turkish end up couldn't get through customs. Curtis got his bloody luggage left. It's like, what is happening here? Joe's broken his ankle. It's like saying out of it's like Fools and Horses or Top Gear, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Was. Like... and the unbelievable thing was, right, this is, you know, I don't know what it is with them lot. I love them at bits, but there's one thing that really I can't understand, right? It says on the thing, I think it was 24 kg of luggage, right? There's me, James, are the only two with the right amount of weight. The rest of them are all over.
Bloody hell.
£100, Dan, to pay.
Right.
£100. So old Turkish, love him to death, says, "Can I chuck a load of my stuff into your bag?" I said, "Yeah, no, not that I'm worried about that. Like, he didn't offer to carry it. I'm carrying now this great big bag, like, all around everywhere. That could have been what put me out. You know what I mean? I don't know thinking about it." So anyway, obviously I'm gone, and I like into this hospital thing, like, so they've gone and got all the bags. Well, he's got this bullet. They've had him on a bullet, right? Now, the Singapore people that we met afterwards, they couldn't believe that they let him in, that it was that serious, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Well, it turns out that the bullet is only in the luggage that was in my bag. So if I'd have been fine, I'd have been accused of the bullets. You know what I mean? Like, you know? So that was a nightmare. We had.
So luckily you'd passed out, so you didn't have to go through that.
Yeah, otherwise I would have been like, can you imagine that? Like doing Turkish a favour, I'm deported. You know what I mean? Like, and there was worrying things that that he could be deported at that stage. You know, it was touch and go. I'm telling you, like, you know. And then, of course, Curtis had 3 days without his luggage, and a big up to Curtis because on the last day, you know, and I will ring him in the next day or so. His son, unfortunately, had an accident, broke his leg. So he had to fly back. So it's been there was loads of incidents happening and all that, like, you know. And then when we get to this park in Hong Kong, we're going around seeing the pandas and all that, like. Joe's got into the back and he's pouncing around, isn't he? And I've just gone, come on, Joe, hurry up, will you? And pushed him. He's only rolled over on his bad ankle, and he, like, you know what I mean? He's in bits again. I felt so bad about that, like, you know. So, you know, his ankle ballooned up a bit again, like, you know. So it was lots of incidents, lots of incidents, like, you know.
Jeez, mate, you never go away again together, will you? You know, go separately when you're together sometimes. It's weird though, like, those are the things, like, you at the time, what stress that is, but what that kind of, looking back on that now, that is unbelievable, really. Isn't it? It's crazy.
It was just a crazy time. But then the hotel that we was in, if you ever go to Singapore and go to the Pan Pacific, it was an unbelievable hotel. And we just had the unbelievable time. Singapore, where we done a meet and greet, and there was over 1,000 people turned up, like, you know. We had the end had to turn people away. It was mad, absolutely mad. Like, for 2.5 hours, what happened was me and Robbie was in the little bit where we was having these photos, and the other guys were going around in the queue because we felt bad, like, that these people were waiting an hour and a half to just have a photo with us and all that, like, you know. It was just mad, Dan. It's just unreal. And we met some the old TikTokers out there who were fantastic, that took us around and all that, like, VIP wherever he went down. It was unreal, like, you know.
Brilliant,
what I mean?
So
great
it sounded incredible, sounded a great tour.
And then the Arsenal got involved, Dan. And
I was just going to say that. That ruined it. Yeah,
it ruined it. I'll tell you what, the worst 3 days was when they were playing. When they were playing, like, you know.
Yeah. Well, we definitely didn't. We definitely didn't go out with a bang or come home with a bang. That's for sure. The other 2 games, perhaps in bits, are a bit depressing, but not quite as bad result-wise. But we're going to talk on.
Come on, let's be really honest about it, Dan. I don't know if you did you watch the games?
I watched all 3. Yeah.
The first game, I dare anybody, if that was I know it was 12:30, but if it was about a 1 o'clock in the morning thing, I reckon it was a snooze fest. It was boring. Yeah. It was a boring game. The only time it got exciting was when Max Dowman come on. It was the only time it got exciting for me. They give Saka the man of the match because he scuffed a shot in. He done hardly anything in the game after that. I didn't think. I just think it was a poor game. You know what I mean? Like, it was a lovely goal by Marino. If I'll be honest, lovely touch from Kai Havertz, and then the finish. I didn't think it was great. In the Newcastle game was I know that we won it
again. Max Dowman.
Yeah, Max Dowman come on and a really interesting thing about that is that when we was talking to Jason Tinder, we was talking about Joe Linton, and that because, you know, they converted him into a striker from a striker to a midfield player. He was saying that pace, power, strength, running with the ball, he was elite at. Finishing, not very good. So that's why they put him into a midfield player. And they were saying how physically strong he is against everybody else. And Max Dowman's just at 15 years of age done him, like, you know. We comes back into our hotel, and I mean, we get really on well with Jay. We had, like, we was having conversations, all that. So I felt I could do it. He was at the back, and then I was shouting out, "You got done by a 15-year-old," like, you know what I mean? And, like, he's got. And when I spoke to Kieran Trippier, he went, "I can't believe he's 15. Could not believe that he's 15." He said, "I've not seen nothing like it at 15."
See, I've got to say this, like, right, I watched him and I thought, wow. And I watched him at 13 and 14 and thought, God, he looks good. But you know when you can't get carried away until he gets into the men's game? Because I've seen Dan Crowley and J. Manuel Thomas, Jack Wilshere and all that. People that make me laugh because the rival fans, I said, I put out a tweet and it went a little bit like West, as sometimes they do. And I put out a little clip of me on TikTok and stuff in the YouTube, and everyone was ranting and raving about it because I said rival fans are rattled because they are Judges, right? And they proved to me why they are. Because, do you think we care? You forget Michael Owen? You forget Wayne Rooney, do you? You forget all that? And all I said was, throw me some names. Who was as good as Max Dowman at 15? And everyone interpreted that as Max Dowman's better than anyone I've ever seen at 15. Now, I didn't actually say that. Now, I've got to be honest, he probably is, if I'm honest. Because I didn't see Messi at 15 and Ronaldo at 15. Because it's quite accessible now to watch him on at 13 years old if you want to in the youth setup, right? However, I have not seen someone in the men's game that has come on and been the absolute star and by far the best player. Now, Ethan Nwaneri is unbelievable. I've got massive a lot of time for him. I think he's going to be an absolute star. I wasn't seeing Saka doing this at 15. And I wasn't seeing, the lads that have come through doing it at 15. I wasn't seeing the lads that haven't made it doing it at 15. The Joe Willocks of this world, the Maitland-Niles of this world, the Smith-Rowes of this world, the Chuba Akpoms, the Eddie Nketiahs. They weren't doing that at 15. But neither was Saka. Neither was some of the youngsters.
Jack Wilshere wasn't doing it at 15.
Jack Wilshere wasn't doing it at 15. I didn't see Rooney at 15. Kevin did. I know he saw him at 14. Yeah. Said he was unbelievable, right? So maybe Rooney's one of them. But do you know what? I don't care. If it's Rooney and Messi and Ronaldo and Owen, I'll take that because they turned out to be bloody good. So if they're the names that we're putting Max Dowman in the same category as at 15, we've got a potential star on our hands here, man. So I've got a couple of questions for you, bro, right? About Max Dowman.
Yeah.
First question is, what happens next with him? And my second question is, do you have any worries or concerns about him and how Mikel Arteta uses him?
Well, that's a good question. I think, first and foremost, I had the pleasure yesterday. His mum and dad come up to me and introduced themselves. They said, we're Max Dowman's mum and dad. And we ended up having a chat for about an hour, about 45 minutes. And, open and honest and all that. He has never, ever played in the same age group as that he's in. He's always played above. So he come to Arsenal as a 5-year-old, was in the under-7s, then the 9s, the 10s. And that. So he's never played at his same age group. When he plays for England, he's never played in the under-15s. He's always played the under-17s or under-18s or now the under-21s or whatever. He's never played in an age group of his age.
That's got to be a good thing. That's got to be a good thing for him physically, and
it's incredible. It's incredible. I'm an August born, right? And I was funny enough talking to him about this. So I was the youngest in my year, right? So when I was playing school football, county football and all that, I was a year above. But when I was playing going to professional clubs and all that, I was playing a year below. Do you see what I'm saying at school? So I was I was the oldest. But I never was a regular in the school team, county team and all that, because I was, everybody said I was a little bit slight. I wasn't physically strong enough. I'd be playing on the wide. I was a winger for my school team but when I played the year below, I was central midfield, you know what I mean? But because physicality, you know what I mean? I wasn't there, you know what I mean? But this kid is, you know what I mean? And what I see, and I said to him, the biggest compliment that I can give him is, obviously he's got talent. We all know that and everything like that. But the one thing that he's got is the confidence to just say, give me the ball, Odegaard. Give me the ball. Let me have it, dude. I think that's, not even in his shell a bit. Now, I get that. He's been training with the team for a while and everything like that. So he gets you. I think it's unbelievable. He's never played wing in his life until the other day. That's the first time he's been a winger. Right? So I think that the plan is to play him there because physically I don't think he's going to be quite strong enough for the midfield. But eventually he's going to be a central midfield player without a shadow of a doubt. I have to say his dad was, the way Mikel's teaching was looking after him, he had nothing but praise for him. Problems that he's got, Dan, is that he's still at school.
Yeah.
They was actually saying that he may have to have security go to the school because it's he got 100,000 followers from that Newcastle game to the next game.
Wow.
So it's, you know, like that's our bigger thing that he done. So his mum and dad want him to be grounded, want him to have an education, everything like that. But he does 3 days at school, 2 days at Howland. And you know, at this moment in time, you know, the parents are lovely couple, were very grounded, want him to be, you know, I said, is school important? Because like the kid's going to make it, whatever. And they said, yeah, we want him to have an education and everything like that. Mad. So like they might have to take someone into security at the school to look after him. I don't know what they're going to do about this at the moment. When you ask what the future is for him and all that, at this moment in time, he doesn't know if he's involved in the Emirates Cup or not. Won't know until tomorrow when they go back into training. So it's all up in the air. I'd imagine that I said to him, I think it's a certainty being the Emirates Cup. I think, like, you know, and you know, I think the biggest compliment I can give him, and also is against Spurs, they doubled up on him. You know, so listen, is he good enough now, Dan? Yeah, he is good enough, in my opinion. I wouldn't hesitate to say, Saka, you play the first 70 minutes and then bring him on for the last 10, 15, 20 minutes. I know that player, like, we all want signings and all that, like, but what I've seen now...
You're good enough, you're old enough, right?
Yeah, in my opinion, yes. Obviously, you've got to be a little bit... what's the word, like?
You got to be careful.
Careful with him and all that. And I think his dad said on the K, like, you know, if he gets 10 games next season, that'd be unbelievable. 10 appearances. So,
that's humble, man.
But you know, I said at the end of it, I think you might even get more than that. I think that he's going to be involved. I said to his mum and dad, I said, I think he's going to be involved. I can't not see it. I think he's that good, like, you know.
I thought he was unbelievable. And look, individually, we all saw the technical ability. But do you know what I loved the most, more than anything, actually, more than his technical ability, was he got kicked and he loved it.
Yeah.
He weren't rolling around crying, pointing his finger out at the ref. He got kicked and he got kicked and he got kicked. And Joe Linton basically come off the field laughing with him, going, mate, I couldn't get near you. And you could just see the conversation. And he just smiled. He just shook his hand and walked off. And I thought, you are class, bruv. You have got something about you aura-wise. And look, I don't think he's going to be a Lamine Yamal or a Messi. I'm not going to go that mad. I think he's going to be a Max Dowman, right? Let's just see what he is about. But he's got everything in his locker to be an unbelievable talent. And what I liked about him, in terms of his technical ability, was his fearlessness and his confidence, but his drive forward and the fact that he didn't care about having a go. And you know, sometimes you get sort of 16, 17-year-olds that get onto the kind of, you know, situation of, I shouldn't shoot, I'm only 15, I'll give it the word of God. He didn't care about that. He didn't. No. Yeah, I'm saying he just smashed it. And I loved him. Look at this, Chris Lee. Dan, like and subscribe, Potts. What's he talking about here? Like and subscribe, people. Anyway, but no,
I'm laughing at your mum's one, but let's hope we don't learn off number 29, like, you know what I mean? So,
well, can we move to him next? Because I thought he was absolutely embarrassing the other day against Tottenham. I'm sorry, I know you're a fan. I thought he was awful. I thought it was rolling around on the floor, skidding on his backside, putting his hand up. Ref, that must have been a foul. Taking pathetic decisions, poor passing, lackluster, walking around a pitch. I think it was like a 2 out of 10 in terms of ratings. I thought he was that bad, Judge.
Shocking performance. Martinelli was just as bad.
Yeah.
Saka as well, really. They didn't get no creative. Odegaard, no creativity whatsoever. Listen, what the greatest thing about, so I'll have an argument with anybody about these things, is that when you're in these games, there's no pressure on them, like, as far as winning and that. So I'm watching that game and going, right, what am I seeing? I'll tell you what I see in that game, right? I see, and this is what worries me, and people go, oh, it's only a friendly and all that, like, you know, right. So time to experiment a little bit in a friendly, isn't it, like, you know what I mean, right? Our system is Odegaard gets the ball, doesn't matter how far he is or where he is in the pitch, he gets the ball and he feeds Saka. If he doesn't feed Saka, he feeds the other Martinelli out wide, right? Okay. And what happens is they get blocked off, and he continues to do the same thing. Give it to Saka. Give it, instead of pretending to give it to Saka and driving through himself or something like that. We haven't got no one like that, right? In the game against Spurs, let's go there because that's the game to look at like that. Non-existent, our front three, because they never got no service, right? When they did, they were locked down by Tottenham's tactical defences, like other teams have done in the past over the last year or so, like, yeah. Declan Rice was non-existent for... you know what I mean? Like, just wasn't there in that game. Like, you know, there was 3 times when the ball was pinged into him, and if he plays it with his left foot, Martinelli's one-on-one. I'm not saying he'd do anything from it, but one-on-one. He can't do that. He has to come inside with the ball and then pass it. So when people go, it's only a friendly and things like that, I get that. So if it's only a friendly, why are you not experimenting? Why are you not putting Odegaard out on the left and Declan Rice on the right to see if that could work? You know what I mean? Like, or something different. I'm looking at these 3 games. I wasn't excited by any of them, Dan. I wasn't excited last season by a lot of our performances. You know what I mean? I thought, nothing's changed.
Can we come on to that then? Because there's a few more individual players I will mention after this question. You said you're not being excited by it, and it's the elephant in the room question. Mikel, if I'm honest with you, I have made it very clear for many times, and I'll say it once again, I don't think he should be here. I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's a manager that's going to take us to the next level. There's no point me going on about that because that's not telling anybody anything new, right? You know that. The whole chat know that. The whole social media know that I ain't a fan of old Super Duper Mick. He just ain't for me, right? But he's our manager this season, and we have to provide all we can from board and ownership level. And as a fan base, we need to do all we can to try and support the club to get across the line. I don't think it's going to happen. I've accepted I don't think we're winning anything this season. And I think that he'll be gone by the end of the year. That's my brutally honest opinion if you want that, right? However, that's, of course, not how I want the season to end. And I still think that we could potentially, with a couple more signings, have a real good chance of doing something. Right. I haven't seen anything in the last 3 games to suggest that he has learned that he's going to change his style. It has been stubborn Mikel, keep the ball, possession-based, play rubbish, come out in a press conference and say you're really excited about what you're seeing.
No.
That's not good enough.
Totally agree. Like, the left side is as dysfunctional as a family of thieves. You know what I mean? Like, it is unreal. Like, you know what I mean? And the reason is every time Saka gets the ball, right, from Odegaard, right, he's got Ben White sprinting down the side of it, like so giving him the option. The left side doesn't have that. The left side's converting into a midnight. When there's any time as the left back going and helping, doing a dummy run or anything like that, doesn't happen, right? So you've got Martin. So as the fullback is Martinelli, he knows, right, I'll take him on, but he knows that, like, and his defenders are good enough to be able to handle that. You know, someone said to me the other day, we haven't looked nowhere near as good without Xhaka in there. Well, that's 2 years gone now. 2 years gone. We're playing a right-sided midfield player on the left, and we're playing a left-sided midfielder on the right. And here we are in the 3rd game of the competition or friendly, still the same old sort of stuff. We're not changing it around. And it is a worry for me, Dan. I don't care what you say. Now, we've got another 2 games to come before playing Man United. Things can change. You know, Gyökeres come on. One, let's get this right. He's not fit. He was nowhere near fit because he hasn't trained. We know that. Like, I went and watched the close, like the open training session, and you can see that there's good glimpses and all that, Dan, but he's got a lot of work on him. He's got still nowhere near fit enough. But even in that game, when you have a look back at it, it was 4 or 5 times again. Havertz gets the ball, and I looked at him and I said, "Look where he is, wide right. Look where he is." Left of the penalty box, right? Gyökeres is not going to do that, Dan. So something's got to change.
No, you know what? My dad said this. Big up to my dad. My dad said this. He said, when we watched him, right, we both watched him together on holiday. I don't know if it was AC Milan or Newcastle, but there was a moment where Saka's got the ball on the right and Ben White has already won the ball back, so he's not in an overlap position. Saka is on the right-hand side, and our striker, Kai Havertz, goes and overlaps him instead of getting in the box. That tells me everything I need to know about the fact that Kai Havertz is not good enough to be a centre-forward for Arsenal to win us anything. He'll be fine as a squad rotational player. I'd sell him as quickly as I can. He'd be gone in the summer if it's me. This, for me, is all the reasons why we need Victor Gyökeres. And he said, Dad, Victor Gyökeres wouldn't do that. He'd run into the box and he'd go and get his head on it, or he'd go and get his foot on it, and he'd have a go at goal. And that is why I'm now relying so much heavily on Victor Gyökeres. But I'll tell you this now, Mikel Arteta needs to change his style. He needs to change the style if we believe, because otherwise Gyökeres is going to stand there and do what and be like, well, you got to get the ball to me, because the creativity is zilch, bruv. And the left hand side is stale. Ødegaard, I think we might need Eze in now to drop Ed Ødegaard, because he is doing my absolute brains in. He had a glimpse against Newcastle. I thought, oh, hang on, is he back? No, he's not. He's back to his usual tricks against Tottenham, flicking it over, doing that stupid loop pass every time. It's just not working, man. We've got to change it up, bruv. It was so predictable. And, you know, people say to me, what have you learned from this pre-season? That. Absolutely zero. I've learned that Zubamendi might improve us, and Gyökeres we might need. But I've learned that our attack ain't good enough. Our left-hand side is stayed as last season, and we need a striker. And let's be real. I said this to my dad as well. If I would have said to you last season, we're playing Tottenham at the weekend, Lee. All right, what's the team? We ain't got Timber, we ain't got Partey, and we ain't got Gabriel. We're trying to play Havertz back up top again, and Martinelli's under form, and so is Ødegaard. You would have probably gone, well, we ain't going to win then. But all of a sudden, we're playing this team. We're expecting to win 3 or 4-0 against Tottenham. We're not going to. Low block, every single game, low block, no answer about it. Low block, can't break down a low block. And he comes out in the press conference and says, I've been really impressed by what I've seen. Been really impressed.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean? Like, then no one there in to question him, Dan, you know, at the end of the day, because you're not allowed to. So that's a fact. So I've seen it from my own eyes. But what I will say about that is that, you know, like the problem that you've got at this moment in time is that there is no other. The system is there. He believes in that system. He's not going to change it. I don't think he is going to change it. I will say that, you know, that game against Spurs, I actually said that we wouldn't win that game because one reason I think that. We haven't looked good. Secondly, like I think that for Tottenham, it was more important that they win because their manager takes a bit of a pressure off of them. Like, you know, people like Robbie making excuses saying, "Oh, we had one eye on the plane and all that." That's all rubbish. You know what I mean? We weren't good enough. We weren't good enough. Norgard impressed me. I'm going to say that. I thought he done okay.
Not as good off the ball, on the ball at times.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. He won everything on the ball, but he's not going to create nothing.
No.
Like, you know, our creativity, our midfield, like Declan Rice is a wonderful box-to-box midfield player. Wonderful box-to-box midfield player.
He ain't an attacking midfielder, though, is he? Let's just have it right.
Well, I think he is. I think he's just out of position, Dan. Like, you know, put him on the right. Put him on the right where he hasn't got a cut inside. You know what I mean? On his weaker foot all the time, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's, you know, like, he's a quality player wherever he plays. That's my opinion. But there are times I watch that game on, you know, where it's natural for a first time pass with your left foot. He doesn't do it. He has to have that touch, or, you know, the angle for the right footer is not there. I don't see why that's not been changed over and have a little look at it, like, you know. But there's zero creativity from anybody, you know. So you're relying on Ødegaard to do it. And Ødegaard, I'm sorry, I don't know if he's being told to do this all the time. Look at him in the next games over gets the ball. If he plays 100 passes in a game, right, 80 of them to Saka. 80 of them are to Saka. Like, whether it be 5 yards, 6 yards, 20 yards. Right? Feed, right? The other side, not there. We're so imbalanced as a system, Dan. You know what I mean? What you've got to do is the scales are like that.
I agree.
Them like that. You know what I mean? Like, or even a little bit like that. But it's like this. You know what I mean? Until he sorts that out, I'm afraid, and I think it may be personnel in there, but you know, like an Eze or so. Those games are crying out for Declan Rice to be playing as the holding player and an Eze or a Wanyeri plus an Odegaard.
Sorry,
You know
mate,
what
but
I
this
mean?
is what I've been saying. And look, I actually quite like the look of Zubimendi. Little glimpses I've seen of him, looks
Brilliant.
pretty good. But I want to see Zubimendi and Rice together. I don't want to see Rice playing in the Gerrard Lampard role. I know you think he can play there. I do not think he can play there, mate. That's just my opinion. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I think he puts in 2 free kicks, top bins, and now all of a sudden he's the Lampard. That's not true.
No,
He
he's
put
not.
in
He's
2
not.
free.
He's not that. He's a different sort of a player. But I get what you mean. You know,
I think he's an engine. I think
he's.
I tell you, I think he's more. And I'm not saying I said this, and people said, "What? He's nowhere near as good as him." He is nowhere near as good as Patrick Vieira. But I tell you what, he reminds me of him in terms of his attributes because he's that up and down type player with the engine, and that's what Patrick Vieira had. Patrick Vieira didn't sit there and just in an anchor in midfield, did he? He was everywhere, covered every blade of grass. That's what Declan Rice does for me. I don't want Declan Rice in the attacking 8 role. I just think he's better deeper. That's basically my problem with Declan Rice.
Coming on, I agree. That I agree with you. Like I think that on the second, like, you know, it's in football, it's called the third man run. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I know what he's trying to do. What Arteta's trying to do is he wants Declan Rice because he's brilliant off the ball. Declan Rice, he's unreal, right? And he wants him winning the ball back higher up the pitch. Totally get that, but it does not suit his attributes elsewhere. When he does that, brilliant. But
it might do it. Listen, I think Declan Rice playing in that role against Man City, playing against the better teams that will push higher up the field and, you know, have a lot more confidence, that would do it. But when you're playing a low block team, you're in those areas. You've got to have trickery. You've got to have something else. You know, it's not about running 10, 15 yards. You know what I mean? I get where you're coming from there. And that's where we struggle. You know what I mean? Like, listen, we'd have still been out there now and we wouldn't have scored against Spurs. Like Robbie said, we had 16 shots with 1 on target. You know what I mean? Like, come on, the goalkeeper didn't have a save to make. And listen, I'm going to say this now. I don't want it to be. They're poor, Spurs. You know,
I'll be honest. I thought they were well drilled because
drilled. Right, okay, and I'll give you that.
I'll give you that. No, that is all they were, though. That is all they were.
Well drilled, right? I wouldn't say one player.
Exactly that, and it's the manager I'm giving credit for.
So you've got to give their team, like, you know. So we've got all these good players. We can't break down a poor team like that. Now, all of the Arteta lovers and the cult following that he's got will turn around and say, "Oh, it's only a friendly. It's only a friendly. Wait till the season starts." Then after it starts, it's only the first game of the season when you lose. Oh, it's only 5 that. You know, wait until January when you can buy another this and that. You know, there's always something going on. There's always excuses. Those 3 games were piss poor, right? Entertainment value, Dan, 3 out of 10. Prices for those tickets over £200. Now, I get the first game you're making loads of substitutions and all that, like, you know, but that game yesterday, on whenever it was, Thursday night, was it?
Yeah. It was actually Thursday, 12:30. Yeah,
Thursday, for us it was Thursday night. But like, that was 50,000 fans in there paying top money, right? 45,000 Arsenal fans, 5,000 Tottenham fans, right? And we couldn't put in a performance. But it's all right. It's a friendly. If it's a friendly, why are we over there? Why is people paying 200 quid a top?
Well, we shouldn't be having friendlies against Tottenham. If I'm honest with you, we shouldn't be having friendlies against English teams, in my brutal opinion. But what frustrated me more was I actually thought Pedro Porro, Jed Spence, and Mohamed Kudus were 3 of the better players on the pitch, and all played for
defensively.
Them. Oh, absolutely, but that's what they did. They look against Saka. They know Jed Spence and Porro. I mean, Martinelli, let's just have it right, was absolutely...
No, listen.
I've tried to defend him, Lee.
I have as well. I am now worried about him, his performances and all that. And I'm not just blaming him. I think a lot of it is down to the tactics of this manager and the way he's played. I think if you had the best left winger in the country at the moment, like in the world, I still don't think he would perform in that system that he's playing. He wouldn't. You You know what I
I
mean? You've
don't.
got to cover the left back. You got to cover the left back. You're always one on one. There's no one helping you out there, like with Saka has. Saka's got like 3 options. Saka gets doubled up, trebled up, but Ben White helps him out one way. Odegaard helps him out the other. When does Odegaard help Martinelli out? When?
True.
When does Miles Skelly help out Martinelli or Trossard, or anybody? You get things like Reece Nelson's done well when he's come on. The game's done by then. There's too many changes and all that. The first 70 minutes is where it happens in these sort of friendlies, And listen, they're all trying to get fit and all that, and I get all of that side of it all there. But I see Spurs be awful last season, Dan, right? And then I've seen them now look organised and they've got some sort of way they're going to play against the better teams, and they'll be more expansive against other teams. But I see them improving from their last. Now, maybe, Dan, people will come back and go, "Oh, bloody rightly so. They come 17th in the league or whatever." I get that. But I watched those 3 games, and it was exactly the same as last season, with a different personnel in certain areas. One of the best players for us on the tour, you might be shocked by this, who was a little bit more of attacking, was Marino.
Yeah, I've got to say, I was listening to Arsenal Vision the other day, and they were talking about him and his role. And I've got to be honest with you, and it will lead into a player that I know you like, and I'm not a fan of. I think Marino's better up top than Havertz.
Well,
I've got to be honest.
Havertz has played. He'd done a fantastic flick for one of the goals. I think it was against Newcastle. Other than
Marino's goal.
Was it for Marino?
He was terrible.
Other than that, I'm struggling to think what he done. What he done on that on this.
He done nothing,
shocking.
Man.
Shocking.
Nothing.
Not good enough. The one player that was. Or 2 players that were class, which is a worry when I go back about this, Dan. The 2 players that were class on the day over the tournament, and you think, that was Saliba and Ben White.
Yeah.
Right? And Max Dowman.
Yeah.
Max Dowman, right? All of them are defenders. I'm going to bring up the Raya thing, Last season, I thought he was outstanding for us, right? That's because he knew he had a goalkeeper that was a number 2. The season before, he was iffy because Ramsdale. Now we've brought in Nick Kepa. He's gone off. No one's saying that the goal that he let in against Newcastle was shambolic. It's 30 yards out, then. Right? And then he has a performance like that. And it weren't just that goal. I've got to say, he flaps at corners.
Yeah.
You've got to get on your game, mate.
Do you not think, though, Judge, that I agree with you. Last season, I see him against Aston Villa, double save, double penalty save against Atalanta. I thought, this guy's incredible at the moment. What's going on? Back end of the season, can't say the same. Don't think he was shocking, but I kept saying, and I was at the Emirates, and I kept watching the away games, and I kept saying the same thing. Get in your goal. Yeah. That's all I kept saying. Get in your goal. And he gives a suicidal pass to Lewis-Skelly. Some are saying it's a foul, but it ain't enough for me. He's turned it into trouble. And then it's a brilliant strike from Sarr. I've got to say that. However, Raya looks like a clown. Why? Because he ain't in his bloody goal. Now, if people are telling me, well, you can't blame Raya, it's Mikel Arteta. I would be saying to Mikel, even if he drops me, I'm a goalkeeper, mate. I'm not a defender or a central midfielder. Well, so I'm going to stay with these things on my hands and stay in goal. That's what I'll be saying. Oh, it's not Raya's fault. It's Mikel Arteta for telling him to go and play in midfield out there. Well, if Mikel Arteta is telling him to play in midfield, and that is true, then he ain't going to last very long. Let me tell you that. Because goalkeepers stay in goals, as far as I'm concerned. So I was sick of it. And I'm looking at it thinking he's going to get lobbed here. Oh, there he goes. And he's running back. Oh, no. And I thought, what? This is embarrassingly pathetic, that. It was an awful goal.
It was a foul. It was a foul. Richarlison does clip Miles Skelly. But at the end of the day, was it the pass to make in there? No. The risk for reward is ludicrous, really. For what reward you get out of it, not a lot. But the risk is fatal. And that's how it is, like, you know what I mean? Listen, we can go on about moaning about that. Everybody's going to come back. Oh, calm yourselves down. It's a pre-season friendly. And I get that. But even in a friendly, you want to take something away from it, Dan, like the good performance here. And I didn't see that. I didn't see it in all 3 games.
You think now, right, David Raya has gone into 3 now that I can think of. There's probably more. I think when he first came, he got lobbed by Mudryk somehow, didn't he? But he's rolled the ball out for Saliba, and a goal's come in from against Real Madrid. He's messed the ball up with Ødegaard and Saliba, and he's got lobbed by Mateta at Crystal Palace at the Emirates.
Yeah.
And now he's done it again. Now that's worrying because that is April, May, June, and we have seen him get the same goals happen 3 times. Are we not learning? Is he not learning? Is Arteta telling him to keep doing it? Seriously, what is it? I don't get it.
And listen, there's been other times when he's got away with it. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, which ain't highlighted. True. You know, listen. You know, I think he's a good goalkeeper, David Raya. Got no problems with him in goal, but he's just been a bit sloppy at this moment in time. Like, you know, sharpen up, mate. That's all I'm saying to him. Like, because he's got.
I agree.
You know, I don't want to be. I always say this, Dan, of a goalkeeper. Like, you know, I'm not a goalkeeping expert. I don't know all this and all that, right? But like, what I do is I don't like it when I see a shot from 30 yards and I think, oh, he could have done better there. You know, if you're beaten by 5 yards or whatever, but when you're getting beaten from 30 yards and getting lobbed from 50, I'm sorry, that ain't acceptable in my book, like, you know. So listen, he's kicking, he's handling, he's normally pretty good and all that, like, you know. But the last couple, it ain't been particularly good, and that, you know, that's on Mikel now. He's picked him; it's his choice. I'm sorry, like, you know what I mean. You've got there's a lot of things now. Now, listen, Mikel's putting himself under the pump a lot now, and I'll tell you another thing. I don't think I sit in there like it's going to be very, very difficult that Gyökeres is going to start against Man United.
You think he is or he's not?
I don't know. I think he's got a lot more training to do, and you know, he's got to get games in there as well.
No, if we start Havertz,
well, it's 2 weeks of hard work for him now. Really does, you know. The Emirates Cup, you know, is going to be interesting. Like, you know, from
I want to see him playing both of those at some form and then start at Old Trafford. That's what I want to see. If he starts Kai Havertz against Manchester United at Old Trafford, I will be ringing up a few therapists to go and give Mikel a couple of hours treatment. Let me tell you that, because there is no way you can be serious about signing a striker like that.
I reckon he'll start Havertz, whether it be wide left or up front. I think he'll start.
Wide left.
Somewhere. I do believe that he will.
It's a sackable offence then. If he plays him on the left wing or up front.
I don't know if he's going to play. I just think, like, you know, I'm not the only one inside the camp.
No, you're not. There's a lot of people that have said they think he's going to start him, man. This is why, right, bruv? And I know you're a fan of him. I get it. And I know, and he's done some good goals for Arsenal. But this is why that signing is the worst signing we could have made. He is now getting in the way of a lot of. We've got to try and fit him in somewhere. This is the mindset now.
He has got to. If he does play, he's got to play well. Like, and that's the thing now. Those performances over the last 3 games tell me that him and Martinelli won't be starting games next season.
Honestly, look, we've got to try and turn this into a positive, because there has been some negatives we've spoken about, but I think they've been justified, right? Let's end with a little bit more of a positive note. Obviously, the signings that have come in at the moment have been majority backups, other than Zubimendi and Gyökeres, who I think, when everyone's fully fit, will start in the first 11, right?
Zubimendi's been a plus. He's looked really good.
Zubimendi's been a plus. And I know Gyökeres only had 15 minutes, but that is a brilliant signing. Like, everyone's talking about how he's going to bang and all this stuff. And you know my thoughts on him, right? Eze's being linked, Lee. And there's rumours that it isn't just going to be Eze coming in. There is going to be another left winger. Now, I've heard in the last couple of names that Rafael Leao, Rodrigo and Morgan Rogers are all being linked alongside Eze with Arsenal. So that, to me, it's got to happen. But that is quite positive news, positive rumours, I would suggest, right?
Yeah. Listen, positive. You know, I'll tell you, Mosquero, when he came on, was positive.
I liked him. Yeah.
I have to say that. I thought he looked very, very positive. The youngsters coming on, like Miles Lewis-Skelly, I thought it was a mixed bag, but look, still, you can see that he's class. I look at the team in general.
I thought Ethan had a very good first half against AC Milan.
Wanyery's looked good on the tour. Saliba looks very, very good. Worrying signs is that Gabriel and, again, Calafiori can't seem to get a string of games together. But when they were playing Calafiori, I thought he looked pretty good. As I say, Marino, I thought has, turned in some decent performances when he's played, but then hardly played in the game against Spurs. So that's a bit of a concern. But there's always pluses on it. Like I think Ben White reminding everybody how good he is, you know what I mean, in a couple of the games. Looks like, he's going to be starting right back with Timber not training at this moment in time. Listen, defensively, we're very, very sound. You know what I mean? I think midfield, we're very, very strong. I really do. I just think that we're short in creativity and attacking options. I really do, Dan. If we sort that out, we'll be all right. And Mikel's got to be a little bit more braver with his tactics, I think, a little bit. But other than that, listen, there's still 2 weeks to go. And I was talking to Jason Tyndall. I said, when does it really start, ramping up? And he says 2 weeks before the season starts.
There we go.
Hard work goes. So this is where it starts now. Like it's not really. It's just about getting legs in the minutes and all that. But so this Emirates Cup, let's see how we get on in that, and we make judgment from there.
Look, let's touch on what it's going to look like for the first 6 games. I know we've got 2 pre-season games before Old Trafford. I get that. And I think it is just about fitness now. And obviously we want Gabriel, we want Calafiori, we want Timber, we want Jesus if he is going to be a part of this. All fit. I want everyone fit, right? But these 6 games, judges, are the most important 6. Not just because of who they're against, but we could find ourselves very handsomely out of a big 6 sort of drama, if you get me. Or what we could do is find ourselves in trouble against those first 6. And then if we find ourselves in trouble, people will go, it's all right, we've got nice fixtures now. You do not want to be finishing the 6th game having drawn or lost to Liverpool, Newcastle, City and Man United. It's all right beating Leeds and Forest. These 6 games are massive. And people are saying, if we don't get through these 6 games, Mikel might not be here at Christmas. So these 6 games are so pivotal, mate, so vital that we're ready for these 6 games, bruv.
Yeah, 100%. And it's all right saying, we've got these teams, like, I don't know, just for instance, Everton, Crystal Palace, teams like that, after this top 6, we can't beat these teams. We drop points against these teams. Yeah. So you're losing the depth of it all. That you ain't necessarily going to win these games. I look back at last season at home, you go, right, we're going to win here, and all of a sudden it's a draw here and a defeat here. You know what I mean? Like West Ham defeat and all that, So those sort of games where people think, this is where we're going to pick up points are not easy for us because of the way we play and the way the manager sets up, and he doesn't change it. So a club like Brentford, a club like Tottenham, a club like Everton know exactly what Arsenal are going to do, and they've got good enough managers and good enough players to see out systems and sort out and get points out of it, Dan. And that's what's happening. It's happened in the last 2 or 3 years, and it's continuing happening. I think that with Gyökeres coming in, there's going to be a definite change. I think that it'll be forced on Mikel a little bit, and it'll also be like, that the way Gyökeres plays will dictate that. He's very, very good at holding the ball up. He'll bring in players. So I do think that we'll be a little bit more dangerous when he's up and running. And because of that, that's why you've got to be a little bit more patient about what's going on. And I think these Emirates, let's see what happens in these Emirates Cup games. Let's see what happens. And then we'll make a decision. Then you've got to go to Man United. When we'll look at that one game at a time. If we beat Man United, then beat Leeds, get a draw against Liverpool, you turn around and go, that ain't a bad start to the season, and then we can go on from there, like, you know. But I don't want to see us dropping points at home, Dan. That's the thing, like, another thing that continues to keep happening under Arteta, like, you know. I'm with you on this, you know what I mean? I want to see change, and I don't see it happening with the manager. So it's got to be the players that have got to change. So personnel changes. That means like the likes of Havertz coming out, the likes of Gyökeres coming in. Unfortunately for Martinelli, someone coming in midfield, and seeing things change around a little bit. Like, you know, whether they do that or not, we'll have to wait and see.
Lou, before we come into the last question on that, how many points are you saying as a minimum for the first 6 out of 18? I'm saying 14 out of 18. I'd accept a draw at Anfield and a draw against City. If I want to beat them, of course I want to beat everyone, but I'd accept drawing to those 2 because they're quality. The others I want to win.
I get on that, but you're at home against Man City. You need to beat them at home.
I agree.
All right, so
maybe it is 16 then.
I think, yeah, I think you got. I expect us to beat Man United. It'll be a tough game, but like, you know, if you're going for a title, I think Liverpool will go there and win. I think Manchester City will go there and win. I think Chelsea will go there and win. So that means we got to go there and win. That's my opinion. Leeds will be a tough game, but we should get over that. Liverpool, I think the best we can hope for is a draw there. I think we beat Manchester City. You've got to look to beat Manchester City. I think the next one is Nottingham Forest, is it?
Yep.
And
got to beat them at home.
Yeah, beat them at home. And I don't think, you know, Newcastle, a little bit of turmoil at the moment.
Got to beat them this time. Got to beat them.
I don't think we will. Well,
Newcastle could be a different outfit. I don't know. We're going to see what Newcastle.
Yeah, he could do that. But it's a tough place to go. I'll take a draw there. So two draws
and wins. Yeah,
and wins.
So that's 14. That is 14.
But they want Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal get those points.
What do you think we'll get then?
I don't know. I think that we could well drop points at home to Leeds. Well drop points to City.
Do you think we could get 10, 9 or 10?
I mean, I don't know. We do not be able to break teams down. You know, I don't know, Dan. I don't know what we're going to get with this Arsenal team at the moment. I wanted to go on this tour and come. Do you remember when I come back from Orlando that time?
Yeah.
I got on the phone. Yeah, I said we're going to be. I said you wait till you see this. You wait till you see that. You're going to be really impressed. Do you remember me telling that?
I do. Jesus and Saliba. Right. I remember. Yeah.
I've come back from this tour. I don't know. That tells it all for me. Like, you know what I mean? I knew we was going to have a fantastic season that season. All right, we come runners up, but no one expected us that season to come runners up. You know, look, Dan. If someone said to someone said to me, like Spurs fans said, I think you'll come fourth this year. I ain't got an argument with that. I can't argue with it. We might come first. We might come second. We might come third. We might come fourth. We might come. I don't know what we're going to get then until we fight.
I've got us in third. As things stand, I've got us in third. I've got to be honest. I think Liverpool and City finish ahead of us. People are underestimating Rodri coming back into this side. Haaland and Foden will be unlocked again.
Yeah.
Reinders is a brilliant player. Cherky's got creativity. Defensively, they'll sort that out. I know they've got problems, Man City, but they will sort that out. Chelsea, they're going to bring in a goalkeeper and another couple of players. They could be in the mix. And then you got Liverpool, who are absolutely flying if they get Isak, and I think they will, by the way. That'll be the top four. I don't see Newcastle, Villa, or Spurs, or United, or anyone coming in to break that up. I think that four's done. It just depends where we come. I've got to be honest with you, Judge. If we don't come first, I couldn't give a toss if we come fourth, third, or second.
No, I'm sick and tired of it.
I'm sick and tired of not winning it, mate. So I've got to see us winning it. Let me just bring this up very lastly before we come to a close. Obviously, we're going to be predicting a little bit here, but I think I know what this first 11 is going to look like at Arsenal, right? I think we all know it's pretty much going to be similar to here, but there's only one position I ain't got a clue about at the moment, and it's left wing. Because as we've mentioned, Martinelli does not look right. If everyone's fit, who plays left wing? Trossard, who could be going. Martinelli, we don't know if he's good enough or if he's going to go or stay. Eze, or do I say Madueke or somebody else coming in? Is it going to be a Rodrigo or Rafael Leao? Who is going to be this left winger at Arsenal, mate?
Well, unfortunately, I think it's going to be Madueke.
Really?
I do, because I don't think any of them have nailed that position yet.
You don't think we'll bring someone else in for that?
Well, they might bring someone else in, but it's going to be too late to start that first game of the season. It might be too late for Madueke because he's not done anything. You know what I mean? He'll be about it'll be interesting where he plays the first game and where he comes on. Very, very interesting because if he is available, right? Yeah, right, and that's where you don't know what's going on. It might be that Max Dowman's not going to be playing in that position and not vote, so they bring him into that position. So, now he's going to be under pressure, from that point of view. If you play him on the left, you know what I mean, that's going to, that looks like, what could happen like? I think that there's two places up for grabs at this moment in time. Well, three in the team at the moment, which you're not sure about, and that's left side of central defender because Gabriel's not played a minute yet, and there's dodginess on there. So it'll either be Kivior or Calafiori. The wide left position, as you said there, and the right back position.
Yeah.
The rest all, Timber hasn't trained yet, so I wouldn't be surprised if Ben White starts. But at the end of it, it doesn't look, you've got an out of form Martinelli at the moment. You've got an out of form Kai Havertz. You've got, I don't think, an absolutely in top form Saka at the moment. Don't forget, he's still coming back from that injury. It's not quite right yet. You've got an unfit centre forward at this moment in time, and we're 2 weeks away from the season. So it doesn't bode good from that point of view. But let's see what happens after as I said, this next week going to be very, very important. Very, very important.
Massive week ahead. Look, we're going to leave it there. It's been a really good hour and a bit catching up, mate. And I'm glad you've had a good time. I'm glad you're back.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I'm just starting to. The old eyes are starting to get heavy.
Yeah, man. You need to go and get your beauty sleep, man. Otherwise, you're going to be collapsing again, mate. We can't have that. Make sure you do me a favor, people. Hit like and subscribe. We're going to send you over to Saeed TV, right? I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go into his chat, and I want you to say #Benjamin Tesco. That's what I want you to say, right? Because there is a brilliant clip. I don't know if you've seen it, judges. Of him laughing of Gyökeres and, they're going to get Tesco and we're going to get Gyökeres. And it looks like Sesko's actually going to go to Newcastle now. But, just go and put that. #Lee Judges and Dan Potts raid. #Benjamin Tesco. Lee, I'll let you say bye to everyone, mate.
Yeah, listen, season's not started yet, if you're going to the Emirates Cup, enjoy it. Don't forget, there's a new top out as well, apparently. You know what I mean? Go buy it, lads. Ladies and gentlemen, go buy it. Have a good evening. I'm out of here. With the Nan. Take care. Adios.